There's an amazing group of women who are applied linguists and English teachers who decided that recognize this as kind of looking like a traditional vowel chart. You kind of see it with the E, but they took all the IPA symbols out of it and they replaced them with colors and words to help people connect better to sounds. So they made it just more accessible. And so they, so students learn the chart, and this online there's an interactive one. So, oops, do you have any sound here? It's not even coming out of mine. I'm not getting it. No, I'm not getting it. But anyways, so they have this, they learn this, and then in your class, whenever there's a new vocabulary word, and students don't know what the vowel is, you just say something like, you know, A, great day, A. So it's a way of communicating very easily about sounds. I love it. In fact, can everybody stand up? They also, for people like me, because actually I like my students, a lot of my students are international grad students, they can handle the IPA. So I like them. They make this one for people like me who say, I still want the IPA on the chart. So, and then this is the West Coast, because we don't have on, so they put orange over here for us. So I love that, the whole group, and they have great videos, and I love the whole system. And this is how they suggest you work with it. Once the students learn those keywords for those sounds, let's say you're doing a new unit, you're working on some new materials, and there's some big content coming up in the story, and they're learning new vocabulary on, you know, Pakistani English, and what does that mean for intelligibility. So take a couple of minutes and talk to people like framework that I think works well. Those of you who are teaching communicative language, teaching approach, or variations of it, this I think makes a lot of sense to you. That if you're going to teach a feature of pronunciation, so maybe it's the aspirated p and comparing it to the unaspirated ba, or maybe it's the syllable stress in words like democracy, whatever it is, they're saying that these steps need to come into it. Now, if you are just trying to sneak pronunciation into your grammar class, you don't have a lot of time. So probably you're just doing 1, 2, and 3 really quickly. Some kind of information that helps them understand, like, oh, the paper. So something like that is description analysis. Number 2, let them hear it. Can you hear the difference between Pakistan and Pakistan? Pakistan, which one am I saying? 1 or 2? 1 or 2. So kind of connecting it to what they're hearing. And then the controlled practice. So that's the drilling. Pakistan, Pakistan, package, pill, pill, pill. So not worrying about like, what is my message and who am I talking to, but just like muscle building is really important in control. My new teachers, anything they're teaching, they say, oh, fight is more interesting. Let's play a game. Let's play a game. Games are great, but if you're teaching pronunciation and you go from, you know, Pakistan to bingo, you know, or whatever it is, and no time to just keep, then you're not helping your students. So my American teachers, whatever they are, introduce them, familiarize them, awareness-raising activities. We already mentioned how it can be really important just to let them know that that's a thing. Like, you know what? Puh really is different than buh. You know, it's a thing. Yeah, this is what it is. Teach IPA symbols and the color vowel chart for problem sounds. Create routines and frameworks for systematic instruction of pronunciation features. So kind of make it something sort of systematic. Find a way to sort of have it in your curriculum. Maybe there's a particular grammar point you're teaching. You know, I don't know, past tense endings. So great time to, you know, get teach their own goals. I think it'll do some buy-in to this. So if they're, you know, being taught, received pronunciation, and they're thinking like, oh, that doesn't sound like, you know, so-and-so that I want to sound like. You know, make that part of the conversation. Meet a variety of learning preferences through multi-sensory experiences, lots of kinesthetics. So I think it's just an area, that's why I think it can be fun. If you can get people to kind of move a little bit, get out of their seats and do some changes. Welcome playfulness, welcome mistakes, I've already said. Create opportunities for students to interact and perform. So if you're teaching face-to-face, take advantage of it. Let people work together. Help students find ways to learn and practice independently. They need to also work independently or nothing's going to change. Okay, I think I have to introduce you now to Laura Holland, another talented teacher at University of Oregon, recently retired, but she's not a pronunciation nerd. She really doesn't know phonetics and phonology. So she's not in the little club with Robert and Charmaine. We just love all the rules. We think it's so fun. She's an oral skills teacher. She's a talented oral skills teacher, and she thinks pronunciation is really important. So she comes at it from a very different angle. And she's really good at it, and students like it. And right now she's in Peru. She's in Peru doing all kinds of workshops on pronunciation. So I wanted to just share a little bit of that. It's kind of a different perspective. It should be daily classroom practice through, she loves back channeling drills. What's that? Do you do any back channeling drills?
Like the teacher says, and then the students, 2 or 3, you can pick them up or ask them to say.
That's like part of it. Yeah, she does drills.
Just put a word in one student's ear and they can lay it throughout the whole classroom.
That's one way of doing it, but actually it's even more technical. Yeah, that's part of it. She also does jazz chants, and then jazz chants, she does any kind of chants, anything, or like the animal song, anything like that. She does those. And then the shadowing, what's shadowing? You might do shadowing. When you're watching those movies, do you ever repeat after them? Follow them? Maybe you're reading subtitles, maybe you stop it, go over it. That's shadowing. That can be very, very effective. For our talented imitators, but even those that aren't, slows down the process. So that's what she said. That's how you teach pronunciation. Educators should not set goals too high, but it's a mistake to set them too low. Find places where students can be successful. Don't expect them to have perfect pronunciation, whatever the goals are. For actions to become automatic, deliberate practice and multiple repetitions are required. Totally agree with that. That's why I get on my young teachers about it. By inserting brief daily practice, we enable students and teachers to build skills and confidence incrementally and raise awareness of the ongoing challenges pertaining to intelligibility in multiple sessions. So she just does these drills a little bit every day. So incorrect word stress, words that have a different meaning. So she goes over these with students. She really gets really explicit now, like, oh my goodness, look how easy it is for people to get confused. So she does a lot of that, and then she does the back chaining. So she takes examples from her textbooks that she's teaching, or from authentic materials, online or TV or movies, and or something that just happens in the class. Like, ooh, people are having trouble with that, and then she'll take like a 3 or 4 minute break to do some drills to do it. So this is what the back chaining is. Things down, and then, but working backwards. And she does it with words. So for example, let's just do the first one together. And we're going to say the first one a few times, and then we're going to keep adding to it. Okay, so repeat after me. There's a sentence, maintain a safe following distance. I love that. Okay, and then says the last word first. Everybody repeat after me. Distance. Again, yes, no, because in American English, yes, no questions rise. And so, let's just do the first one together. Teacher. And it could be something like this. Teacher. Yeah, something like that. It just gets that oral, and it gets you kind of exposed to things like that. Then she's got the falling. She has the really long ones. This is for like hot groups. Don't worry, I'm not going to do it to you. And then, yeah, so just a lot of examples. And of course, you can have a copy of these slides if you find any of these interesting. And then she says, this is a great way. She gets stuff out of newspaper, YouTube, advertisements. She uses all kinds of fun stuff. And then she says, great way for both native speakers And how about something like this? Getting students to say things in different ways. So let's try this one together. Let's just do the first one twice. Everybody, activity B as if you're really happy. Shamara, read the next sentence if you're very angry. So getting sort of students to do sort of more production, but in dramatic and fun ways. This is all inserted into our oral skills and integrated skills classes. And then again, this is Laura saying, insert pronunciation breaks every day and as needed from your textbook, from an authentic material, when students, you know, anything that you think has potential or they're using or your learners are using. And then we're always kind of checking in on concerns. Although I think we have fewer concerns with AI tools for pronunciation. Writing is a lot more concerns. But I don't know, maybe we do have some concerns. So let's just take a couple of minutes. We'll call it our warm-up for our set. I'm used to it, like my pronunciation. And of course, ChatGPT, Duolingo, sounds. Some of my students really like sounds, speech link, ChatGPT mentioned. So then, of course, I thought, well, I want to talk to ChatGPT too about it. So I said, how about free tools in general? So this is what ChatGPT told me. Elsa Speak, okay, very popular. Youglish, there it is. This is a Voice of America. Sounds of Speech, BBC Learning English pronunciation tips. And then it says, remember we're talking about those tools, places where students can also record themselves. I think Audacity kind of has a large learning curve. I like, I'll show you in a little bit which one I use. And then Google search voice feature, as you mentioned. I've got a few more, iTalki, Tandem, and then IPA charts for those students who are actually learning those as well. Minimal pairs, places. This is all from ChatGPT. It gave a lot of different ones. And I like some of the advice. It's just saying, yeah, get out there and shadow. And you know one of your fellow participants, that's how they learned theirs. So anyways, oh, wait, still going. All kinds of advice, which may or may not work for you and or your students. But what I wanted to do was read this article that was rather promising, done with college students in Vietnam who were studying English, and a couple of research questions. I really liked it. To what extent does the application of chatbot AI, Mission Fluent, does anybody know Mission Fluent? They were describing it as free and no registration. It's like, I can't even find it. So I don't know, maybe it's something that is specific to Vietnam, but anyways, I think the function is quite like some of the ones you mentioned. What are the perceived benefits and challenges of incorporating Mission Fluent into vocational students' English pronunciation practice? First year English students in a vocational college in Vietnam, they were very low level. The control group got traditional pronunciation instruction, whatever that is, okay, we don't know what they're doing. Experimental group, oops, sorry, I'm distracted, I didn't finish my thought here. Experimental group were assigned to do daily work on the AI chat bot. And they work, again, similar to some what you were talking. They have little conversations with them, and they got some feedback as well on their pronunciation. So maybe it's, in some ways, like Elsa Speak. The experimental group showed statistically significant improvement in comparison to the control group with stress, intonation, and vowel sounds. AI chatbots can increase students' language competency by providing extra practice and immediate feedback when integrated in traditional classrooms. So again, 5% of students found the scoring your speaking feature to be particularly useful. So it sounds similar to what you're getting from the Elsa Speaks, kind of a percentage rating. And they like the interface, and they like topic-based conversations, motivating. So yeah, it's areas. And just like experiment with a couple of them, kind of brief versions. and see if there's anything that might be useful for you and your students or adaptable to what you're doing. So I do teach consonants and vowels. It looks like I spent so much time on them, but as you saw in my curriculum, only a little bit of time, but I have my favorite activities for doing it. Mirrors, I used to use mirrors in the old days for any of those consonants or vowels that you can observe from the outside, but nowadays my students have phones, so get out the phone, if we're working on a, I don't know, W, versus so really getting the visual going on there. Exaggerating. I tell my students that when we're in the class, let's really stretch things out. Let's really do a lot of exaggeration, because when they go out, it's going to get so longer anyway, so you might as well. And if you happen to be teaching American English, Americans are really into long vowels and lots of it. So if you happen to be teaching American English, there's no problem with being too exaggerated. I had a student from Japan a long time ago.